Jensy Machado thought that he was safe. He was a proud American citizen, a Virginia resident, and most surprisingly, a Trump supporter. He believed Trump's immigration policies were about catching criminals and not hardworking Hispanic Americans like him. But on March 5th, that belief shattered. ICE agents surrounded his truck, guns drawn, and handcuffed him, treating him like a criminal. The reason? They were looking for somebody else. ICE had been searching for a man with a deportation order, but instead of finding their intended target, they mistakenly stopped Machado, somebody who had no connection to the case. Apparently, somebody had used Machado's home address, leading agents straight to him. That particular morning, he was simply driving to work in Virginia with two other men in his truck when the terrifying encounter happened. The moment was surreal. Flashing lights, siren all over, guns drawn. Machado barely had time to even react before ICE agents jumped out of their vehicle and yelled at him to turn off the car, give them the keys, and roll back the window. Before he could even ask what exactly is happening, they had him handcuffed. Machado was in shock. He had committed no crime, he was a legal citizen, yet here he was, being treated like a dangerous criminal. As confusion sets in, ICE officers informed him that they were looking for a man facing deportation. They mentioned a name, one Machado had never heard of. But you know what? The agents weren't interested in explanation. They assumed that he was lying and continued treating him like a suspect. Machado, desperate to clear up the situation, tried to explain. You have the wrong guy. I'm a US citizen. But instead of listening, one of the officers turned him to his partner. He asked him, "Do you believe him?" Well, the two agents exchanged looks, seemingly assumed by his plea. Machado even offered to show his Virginia's driving license to prove his identity, but they ignored him completely. Instead, they ordered him to keep his hands up and remain still. Eventually, after searching him and verifying his information, the officers realized that it was a mistake. They took off the handcuffs and let him go. But for Machado, the experience was humiliating. His two passengers, however, were not as lucky. ICE agents took them into custody, and Machado still don't know why. You know, what happened to Machado is not an isolated case now. The Trump administration has been intensifying its immigration crackdown, directing ICE to increase deportations across the country. The goal is to carry out the largest deportation operation in the US history, and in the process, ICE has been making aggressive stops in the areas with high immigrant population. With more than 250,000 deportations were carried out last year, and experts believe that the number will rise even higher in 2025. Critics warn that the racial profiling tactics used by ICE were leading to an increased number of wrongful detention, just like Machado's case. After his experience, Machado admitted that he never thought that this would happen to him. As a Trump supporter, he believed the administration's policies were only targeting criminals and undocumented immigrants, not law-abiding people like himself. But now, he sees things differently. He said, "I was a Trump supporter. I voted for Trump last election." Well, his words carried a sense of regret. He had believed that he was on the right side of immigration policy. Now, he wasn't so sure. He said, "I supported these policies and now they are being used against me." Well, as news of Machado's case spread online, the internet responded with brutal honesty and no sympathy. Social media users quickly pointed out the irony of his situation. No pity for somebody who voted for their own person. Others reminded him that this isn't the very first time a Trump supporter has been caught in the crossfire of the administration's strict immigration policy. You remember, in 2020, an Indian American IC supporter was detained at an immigration checkpoint. Simply, he had forgotten his passport. In 2022, a Mexican woman veteran was wrongfully deported even though he was born in the US, and Now, in 2025, Machado has learned firsthand that tough immigration law don't always target who you think they are. In the wake of incidents like Machado's, immigration lawyers are now urging everybody, citizens included, to carry identification all the time. They advise keeping a passport or any kind of certificate handy if they are an immigrant. They also stress the importance of knowing your rights. If ICE stops you, you don't have to answer questions without a lawyer present. The reality is that even legal immigrants and the US citizens are getting caught up in deportation sweeps. Machado's story serves as a powerful reminder that immigration policies don't just affect other people, sometimes they come for you too.